Hi. It's already afternoon for me here. Good afternoon, people. Good morning to those on the Pacific end. Some people are getting ready to go to bed. How is everybody doing? I'm here at a different time today. It's noon, my time. Usually I'm here at 10, but sometimes we have to make some changes according to the needs of people, especially because of the topic that we are handling today. So, as you guys can see, what's the topic here? All right, yeah, the topic is about international slash immigrant nurses to the USA. Okay. There are different paths. Well, not different paths really, but there are several steps that have to be followed before one can come to work as a nurse here in the USA. Um, this is not something I have specialized on. So don't, you take everything with a grain of salt. I didn't do like a comprehensive research. And besides, I didn't come here as an immigrant nurse. I obtained my nursing license here in the USA. So I just did my best to do some research in terms of what are the steps, what are the requirements for nurses that are immigrating into the US. There you go. So, yeah, it's a little bit different from those nurses that, those of us who went to school here, the requirements for us. But some of them are the same, in terms of how long do you have to have studied in your country of origin. So, for example, I know you got to at least have your 2 year nursing degree. You must have worked for at least 2 years in your country. And I know they prefer for you to have worked like in an acute care, like a hospital. They also want people who have already like obtained their bachelor's in nursing. It makes things easy and faster. Most of the places actually that look for nurses here are in acute care. Um, in some instances, you'll find some long-term care and some rehabs, but mostly it's going to be acute care, which is like in the hospital. So, yes, it is possible to immigrate here. I'm talking about North America and work as a nurse, but you have to have your ducks in a row. And even if you're a nurse and you're not like fully qualified at the moment, you can figure out where you have the gaps so that you can start working on them. And if it's your dream, if it's your purpose to come and work here in the US, everything is possible. You just have to figure out what's the pathway and you work towards it. What's the roadmap? What do I need? What are my skills gaps? And then you start working on it. Okay. All right. So I had to write this down. This is not off on top of my head. It's not like the health and wellness stuff and others that I can easily just like blurt out of my mouth. Um, I had to write this stuff down so that I know what I'm talking about. So the number one thing is you're required to complete a foreign educated nurses course, which is called a FEN. And in this case, they want like 120 hours of classroom and clinical practice. Okay. I cannot remember how many hours I had to do in nursing school because, schools are different all over the world. And so they want to make sure that the number of hours you did as a student, as a nurse, are equal to the number of hours that they want here, including your practical hours. So practical, this is where, nurses, this is where we learn about the different skills that you're going to practice as a nurse. So things like how do you insert a Foley, how do you put a NG tube, how do you different procedures. This is where you learn how to practice those skills and those number of hours that you do towards your practical. We have companies and organizations that can actually look at your credentials from whatever school that you went to, and they are able to run it against the American standard, and they're able to equate it. Is this equal to what we have here? And if it's not, then they'll communicate to you. Okay. Then the next thing is you need to, if especially if you're not coming from an English speaking country, you need to pass your English language proficiency tests. Okay. Um, I know I came from an English speaking country, which is Kenya. Any Kenyans here? Yay. But I had to do what we call TOEFL when I came in here. For some reason, I guess they always don't think that our English is as good as theirs, or maybe they just want to measure, okay, if you say you speak English, let us see how you measure against our standard. So there's what we call the TOEFL, TOEFL, that is Test of English as a Foreign Language. Then we have the TOEIC, which is Test of English for International international communities. Then we have the IELT, which is International English Testing System, which varies depending on the country of origin. So there's different ways that you can test out. And the goal is they just want to know if you are able to speak English, what kind of English, is it according to their standards? And if you get to work here, are you going to be able to communicate to their people, accordingly? So if you speak English in your country, yes, they may still have to ask you to do something like TOEFL, like what I did. And it has like different sections like reading, comprehension, and I think it was like you do have to do some writing. It has like 3 sections, if I'm not wrong. But it's not hard if you're already like coming from an English speaking country. It shouldn't be hard. It's just like there's some things, like maybe the way they word the sentence, it may throw you off a little bit, but you just have to reread it again. But even the first time, you'll have had an idea what the test is all about, so you just go back and review some more and come back and do it again. Okay. So that is, you have to pass the English language proficiency test. The TOEFL, the TOEIC, TOEIC, and IELTS. Those are the 3 options. The IELTS depends on your country of origin. So they will tell you if you qualify for that one or not. Then of course, yeah, you have to pass the NCLEX exams. They want you to pass the NCLEX exams before you get here. Yeah. I mean, of course, if you want to come as a visitor, just a straight up visitor, and then you come here and start going through the process, you can do that. But this is for people who are already like nurses back home and they want to be hired and come in maybe through like an agency, and they're by the time they come in, they're already posted, in a certain hospital, so that they're going straight to work. In that case, they'll help you with your housing, they'll help you with figure out your transportation and all that. But if you just want to come here as a visitor and then you start finding your way around in terms of how do I transfer here as a nurse, I mean, there's pathways to that. But I'm mainly doing for those people who are back home, whatever country you're from, and you're trying to come here as a nurse and you want to come through like an agency. Okay. So they're going to require you to pass the NCLEX RN exam, okay? And with this, you have to apply for NCLEX in the state of intended employment. So for example, if you want to work in, say, Ohio, you have to apply to their Board of Nursing for the exam. If you want to work, say, California, you want to apply to their Board of Nursing for the exam. Whatever state that you intend to go to, that is where you're going to apply for that Board of Exam. And I think it costs about $200 for the test. And there could be also some foreign associated fees with that. So I would highly suggest for people that want to come over here, you strongly want to work with an agency because they'll cut some of that work for you and they'll show you the pathway instead of having to figure it out by yourself. Now, working with an agency is going to cost you. It's not free services that they offer. They cut some of that work for you at a cost. But I highly advise that because they've done this over and over, so they know what they're doing instead of you trying to figure it out by yourself and, hitting bump roads and all that kind of stuff. I would just advise, if you can, try to find an agency that brings international nurses here. So yes, you're gonna require to do the Board of Nursing exam, and we call it the NCLEX. So outside of USA, we have different countries that do it. And believe it or not, in the whole of Africa, we only have one center for doing your Board of Nursing, and that is South Africa. Did you guys know that? Yeah, it's only South Africa. Now, I know Kenya is working towards something like that, but it's not fully established yet. The one that I know that is fully functional is in South Africa. Okay. Other than that, actually, I've known people who have gone to test out for their Board of Nursing in India. Some have gone to the Philippines. Some have gone to Hong Kong. Yeah, this is a costly process, unfortunately. But I will tell you, it would pay in the end if it's something that you truly want to do. It will pay in the end. Yeah. So in Africa, we have South Africa for sure. If you're able to travel out of South Africa, you can go to India, you can go to Australia, you can go to Philippines, you can go to Puerto Rico. Yay! You can have a vacation over there if you want. You can have Mexico, Japan, and where else? So Germany, Hong Kong, India, Japan, Mexico, Philippines, Puerto Rico, Taiwan, and South Africa. There's several options where you can go and do your NCLEX exams. You just have to have money. It's a costly process because there's no way you're going to do it in your country of origin, especially if you're in Africa. The only way you can do it is if you're in South Africa. If not, and you live within Africa, you're welcome to travel to South Africa or any of those countries that I named. And of course, you can find some of this information online. I'm just doing us a favor, and just bringing the light here and just putting it out here so that even for those who have been remotely thinking about it, and this can be maybe a wake up call like, hey, I really want to pursue a nursing career in America, and go for it. Go for it. So once you do the board exam, the next thing is for you to have a credentialing organization, okay, that will ensure that all the applicants meet the requirements after you take the NCLEX. So NCLEX has a pass score, okay? Yeah, and that's why I say this process can be expensive. So whenever you're going to take your NCLEX exams, you want to make sure that you are ready, okay? Especially if you're going to travel to a foreign country to go do that exam over there. You have to make sure that you know your material, because the NCLEX exam is set in such a way that I don't think the questions have increased, but I did this over a decade ago, but I know the questions are 265, okay? and the computer will shut down at any point, and you wouldn't know whether you passed or you failed. Okay. So I remember when I first did my licensed practical nurse, I did about 71 questions and the computer just shut down. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened? And so thank God I passed. But the thing is, you can reach up to 70 questions. And if you're doing well, it shuts down. And also, if you're not doing well, it shuts down. Okay. And sometimes, if you're not doing quite well, but they want to give you a chance, they will give you more and more questions. You keep getting more and more questions. I've had people who've done all the 265 questions. And boy, is it not exhausting in there? Because you're seated in a little cubby by yourself, you know, with your computer in front of you. And I advise you, on a day that you're going to do the test, please don't be having too much fluids before you go in the room. Okay. It's one of those, I don't even eat breakfast. Um, I don't, I just have a little water just to keep me moist, but I don't drink too much water. So yeah, you don't want to drink too much if you're going to do the exam. You don't want to have eaten all that spicy food and your tummy is going all that crazy, because the questions alone as they pop in the computer are enough to mess with your nerves. So don't have any extra anything extra that is gonna mess up your nerves. So yeah, you're giving a little area, and the place is the thing is blocked. You can't see the person on your right, you can't see the person on your left, and you need to be focused on what you're doing. They have cameras all over there watching you. If you start turning your head left and right or start looking at, you're already disqualified. And of course, when you get there, they have a little locker for you outside the room. If you have a purse or whatever it is that you have, they put everything in the locker for you. You're given the key, you keep the key. But yeah, it's one of those environments you're like, not fun to go to, but we have to do what we have to do. All right. So yes, please, if you're going to go to a foreign country to do their exams, make sure that you are fully prepared, because the cost is up there. Okay, so I told you guys about having a credentialing organization. For example, like the CGFNS, Commission of Graduates of Foreign Nursing Schools. What they do is they evaluate their credentials to ensure that all applicants meet the basic requirements and are fit for the NCLEX. Okay, so these are the ones that look at your credentials to make sure that you actually fit the NCLEX. So what are they looking for? They're looking they're looking at your English requirements. Okay, they're looking at your secondary school documents. Yes, they're looking at your secondary school documents. They are looking for licensure from your home country. Okay, if you're already a nurse in your country, they want to see that license that you're actually practicing in your country. They also want to see nursing education documents from your country. Yes, they do their due diligence before they actually, in their vetting to make sure that you are the nurse and they're going to vie for you. Okay. And it costs about $350. Okay. So yes, they're going to look at your English requirements. They're going to look at your secondary school documents. They're going to look at licensure documents from the home country and your nursing education documents from your home country. They vet all that stuff. It costs about $350. Okay. Then next, you want to find a nursing recruiting agency or a US based employer. This is how you obtain your employment visa. And you must have sponsorship from a staffing agency, then directly from the hospital. So, what the agency will do, they will work with the hospital to ensure that you are sponsored to come. And so your job will just be to go to the embassy to get your work visa. Okay, they'll get the employment visa for you, but you still have to go to the embassy for your Work visa. Yes. So next thing is you obtain a nursing employment visa, and that is the H-1B visa. This is for temporary work, and you must hold a 4-year degree, and you also must have fulfilled a specialized nursing role, and you can apply for your green card once you get in the USA. So you have to show that you have your bachelor's, that is the 4-year degree nursing. You have to show that you have already accomplished your bachelor's, and then that you have a specialized role. So things like, for example, if you've been working in the ICU, if you've been working like in the burnt unit, specialized things. I don't even know the right word to use for that. Something that they cannot easily obtain here. Okay. They want to outsource some of those things that they cannot easily obtain here. Hey, Kwame, how are you? Yeah, so you make sure that you are doing some kind of specialty in your home country, because that then will put you at a higher level compared to anybody else that may be applying for those positions. Okay, so if you're doing something like burn unit, CVICU, especially ICU related, and people that do like operating room and stuff like that, those are highly wanted and needed positions. So if you can start specializing for that in your country, and you have to have had at least 2 years of experience in your country in an acute care setting, your chances are much higher that way. And then then you have to find a registered nurse job in the US. You can search for jobs on your own, like nurse.org job board, um, or whatever hospital that you're interested in. You stand a much higher chance and better chance if you apply to a hospital than, like this long-term care and stuff like that. They need specialized nurses in the hospitals. The shortage is real. I am telling you, people, the shortage is real. I have been working only 1 day or 2 days a week in the hospital, but the shortage has been so bad that I've been doing 3 or 4. That is why partly I look so tired. That is partly why I look so tired, because they offer you a little more so you can pick up some shift, and then you're like, you know what? Let me let me do this while I can, So yes, there are opportunities, and it may seem like a costly process in the beginning, but once you are able to beat all the hurdles and you make it here and you're working somewhere, you reap the fruits at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, you know yeah. So who are the nurses that are not eligible to work in the US? One, if you have less than 2 years of experience, they are not gonna accept you. Like I say, you have to have a bachelor's, and you have to have had at least 2 years of experience, and most likely in an acute care setting, aka hospital. Those who don't have a 4-year degree, you can have an associate degree and you can have several years of experience, but I highly suggest that you complete your bachelor's, because then you stand a better chance. Yes, it's a very rewarding field to work in. Ask me. I've worked over 10 years now. We want you guys, the younger ones, those who are coming in, to come help us. It's a lot of work, but we do the best that we can, because it's a very rewarding field. Um, because you can imagine yourself on the receiving end and the kind of care that you would want to receive. So yeah, it is. I've had family members, at one point my dad was really, really, really sick. And those nurses that took care of him, they left a mark in my heart till now. I was a new nurse then, I didn't know much. But thank God that the nurses that were taking care of him, they were older, experienced nurses, and They gave very good care to him, very good care, and they left an impression in my heart. So I have to pass it on. I'm passing it on. I'm passing it on. All right. So you have to have 2 years experience in your home country. You have to have had at least a 4-year degree, which is the Bachelor in Science of Nursing. And you cannot have committed a crime in your country. Same here. If you commit a crime or if your name is appearing somewhere, it should not be appearing, you can't get the license. The same thing when we are renewing, they have to look at our records and see where we are with that. So if you already have a crime in your country, I'm sorry. I don't think you're going to qualify. Okay. And then those who already have sponsorship from a reputable agency, you're probably not going to qualify. Okay. So check yourself out. Where do you fall? Do you actually want to do this? Is this something that you're interested in? Okay. Like I highly suggest, try to get an agency that has done this for other people in the past. They will make your path shorter. Okay. Not easier. You just won't have to go the long way. It's possible, guys. It's possible. I've met some nurses here in the hospital, like especially we have lots of nurses from the Philippines. We have nurses who came here that have been working almost 30 years and they came through this program. So the program is there, it works. You just have to find like the right agency to guide you through. But of course, for those who are able to come here and try to work it out from here, you're also welcome to do that. Just don't sleep on an opportunity. Give yourself an opportunity and don't shut yourself out before you even give it a try. It's all possible. People have migrated here themselves with their families and they have been able to do better for themselves than they could have in their countries of origin. I don't know why, but our home countries, like in Kenya, where I come from, they don't pay nurses well, not at all. You know, it's a honorable career, it's a honorable job, but they don't pay well at all. So, you can save a little money if you are interested in this and start working on the process. And over time, you'll make it here and then you can work and get more money and be able to do things that you probably weren't able to do and would have not been able to do in your country of origin. You'll be able to give your kids a better life. You'll be able to help other family members. The only thing we ask is don't kill yourself trying to work for everybody else. Because people sometimes, just get too busy doing too many overtimes and too many shifts and they don't have time for their own families. So don't fall a victim of that. Just try to have a healthy balance. And even if you catch yourself doing it too much, bring yourself back in line. Okay. So that's what I had for you guys today. Um, of course, we were just kind of going through it. If you're interested, please, this is not all encompassing. It was just about bringing awareness here. Please do your due diligence. Go online and look and search and research and find what works for you. Okay. I do not know any agencies or any people that can bring anybody here. I don't know anyone that can do that because if I if I knew, I would have brought a whole lot of people here, but I don't know anybody. Okay. I just wanted to bring awareness for our people. There's a sister who had asked me about this topic some time back when I was talking about working as a nurse in the USA. And so that is why I decided to go do a little research and bring it here. I don't know if she's here today, but I'm hoping that at some point she will come across it and It will be saved on here and she can read it or listen to it rather and watch it. All right, guys. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, any corrections? For those who have gone through the system and you're like, what you said is not correct, you're welcome to do that. There's room for learning for all of us. Nobody knows it all. Yeah. I'll just give it a couple minutes. If there's people maybe on YouTube or on here on Facebook that want to ask a question or want to put a comment, you are welcome to do that. It's not nice to shut the doors on people. Meanwhile, let me see if I missed out anything. That's it. And for those who are not nurses in their home country, if this process interests you, you can start working on your nursing. You can start working on your nursing now. Or like I said, for those who want to come as a visitor and find a way through the system here, you can. Everything is possible. Where there is a will, there is a way, they say. Okay. All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions here. So I guess we will call it a day. All right, good people. If things come up or if questions come up, you can just always put them in the comments. I do go back to these videos and just try to see if there's anything that I need to address. So if anything comes up, you can put it on the comments or you can send it to my inbox. You guys know my page by now, right? You should know my page. My page is Learn and Grow with Betty Small. Okay. There is a link over there already, so you can just click and you'll find yourself on the other side. But of course, as always, thankful for Sister Amma for this platform so that we can all share our ideas and knowledge and all that. There's variety going on over here, so don't miss out. But also, check me out. I see Sister Afi over here. Oh, you are such a supporter. I love you. I really do love you. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. So, if you don't see me here, you can always check me out on my page. I also have some content over there on various subjects. So, yes, I will see you again. I think that will be on Tuesday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good day. Have a good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. See ya. Bye.